No, no. Others. It must be, I guess we've seen a different, it must be your fans.
Different one. Okay,
I'll be able to tell.
okay, we're gonna get started here. Um, Let me give you some backstory to this idea.
Okay.
Um, so the there's two secrets in real estate, how to move forward and make a whole bunch of money. Number one is have a whole bunch of conversations. The more conversations you have, the better. And after having conversations, you need to move that to the next step, which is an appointment. So where new agents lack the very most is they don't have enough conversations and they don't go on enough appointments. Honestly, every agent lacks in that. So I was meeting with Johnny Christensen the other day. If you guys don't know him, he owns the Red Sign team. He is Shoney's boss, and he is the regional director. So he's in charge of all of Keller Williams for the state of Utah. So him and I were talking about this, and he was like, okay, what could you do to like quadruple the number of closings that your new agents do? And I'm like, that's a great question. So we went back and forth for probably like 30 minutes having this conversation. And then finally we had this idea. And I liken it to Cutco. Who has Cutco knives?
Oh, I don't think I.
No? Okay. Does anyone know someone that has started to do Cutco? Ooh, okay. Okay, so here's how Cutco works. If you get hired to Cutco, they tell you you have to have so many appointments every week, including your first week. However, they don't care who you have the appointments with. But do you know what happens is, so your first appointment, you call your mom. You're like, Mom, I need to do this appointment. And then you go and do the appointment with your mom. And you know what? Your mom buys Cutco knives. Then you're like, okay, Mom, who should I talk to? And like, oh, call you grandma. You call grandma and you're like, Grandma, I need to do a Cutco knife presentation. Can you do it? And you know what? Grandma buys Cutco knives. And so you end up selling a bunch of Cutco knives, but your excuse is, I just need to practice my presentation. But the presentation is so good that you end up selling knives anyway. And then they love their knives, they get referrals as you start doing a whole bunch of stuff, you convert. We're going to run that same playbook, but with houses. So I have created, with the help of a bunch of people, a pre-buyer appointment. So how this works is you meet with someone who is not yet ready to buy a house, and you have an appointment. There's two goals of this appointment with a bonus third one that sometimes might happen. Goal number one is you become solidified in their mind as their real estate agent. Like, have you ever met someone and you're like, oh, when you hear someone or when you're ready to buy or sell, let me know. And they're like, oh, I already have an agent. Like, you're not even ready to buy or sell. How do you already have an agent? Well, you're going to be that in your sphere's mind. The second thing that you're going to do is you are going to get referrals. This should be so valuable that people want to have you take others through this same process. And then the bonus third is some of those people are actually going to be like, oh my goodness, I can buy a house. And so we're going to do this. So I want to role play this with you guys. David, will you be my person?
Yeah.
Okay.
You.
You can stay there. So I have this packet for you. This is actually a template that is in Canva that I'm sharing with you after this. And with this, you can tweak and change it as you see fit, or you can just run through it right there. So I've tried to create this in such a way that the packet guides you, but it also gives value. So as you have feedback, let me know and we'll tweak and change it. So yes, it is. So after this, we're gonna talk about how you set this appointment, but I want you guys to see, I want to go through it first. And then we'll practice setting the appointment, okay? So if you guys have ideas where you're like, David's not being a real person right now, you can interject and tell him to be a real person. And things that you think that a real person would say in this scenario. So,
What level of difficulty?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
See, like,
Level 0. You're my brother.
you're paying the luxury from the-
So with this, most of the people that you're going to meet with right off the bat are going to be friends, families, close people. We're gonna just go low-hanging fruit. But these people do not own a house. I'm working on the similar presentation for people that own a house. So you can give a pre-listing appointment. I have more objections in my mind about that one than this one. So I did the easy one first.
Not want to keep that house in place.
Yes, that's a whole nother scenario, which is why the listing presentation is a little difficult. Like some people care about, like what upgrade should I do? Other people are like, when am I going to get enough equity that I can just move? Or I hate my house, but I have a great rate. Or what can I just keep my house? There's so many scenarios. So a little bit more challenging to add value for that one, but there's a lot that you could do if you want to just run a similar type playbook to listings. But soon we'll have one of this. So David, your backstory is we're friends. You do not own a home. And prior to this, I convinced you to come meet with me in the office, but you're like, I don't think we're going to buy a house for like 2 or 3 years. You're just renting right now. Okay. David, I'm so excited to meet with you. I don't know if you know this, but this actually like helps me build my business, helps me get better at everything that I'm doing with this. And then my whole goal is to just add crazy amounts of value to you. So like by the time you leave, you're gonna be like, I'm so glad that I sat down with Cameron and we have this game plan for me to go buy a house here in a couple of years. So I have this little packet to kind of keep me on track and then show you a few things here. So just first of all, just kind of what we're gonna do today. First, I want to figure out like where you're at, why you want to move, all of those things. We'll talk about finances a little bit, and then a market, what's going on right there, kind of give you a good timeline and plan, and then your next steps, so you can be on that pathway to go own a home. Sound good? Okay. So tell me, David, and you can make all of this up, whatever you want. Ideally, you told me 2 or 3 years to buy a home. Like, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2 to 3 years is a good amount of time. And it's like, just with life happening and everything like that, we've had, we've had to replace a car unexpectedly, so that's added this, so we want to get that off our plate. 2, kids are always an expense, so that keeps on adding up. We've got 5 kids. So as a result, like, they get older, so we got an age range now. 13 all the way down to just recently 2. And so within that range, there's just more activities. And so life just keeps on getting more expensive. So it's like, hey, we can try to manage this as much as we can. And that's why it's like, hey, 2 to 3 years out, you kind of handle some of the unexpected in there. We get some of that baked out. And then we have a fresh plate to work off of.
I love it. Well, I'm curious, why do you even want to own a home? Why not just rent forever?
I mean, home ownership brings a lot of value in terms of neighbors, education, stuff of that nature. I think with renting, you're kind of subject to what's available to rent, unless, like, because obviously right now we're renting a townhome, which technically, but it's one of those things that there's a lot of maintenance too. So that's another reason we put it off, because it's like, hey, yard work, it's nice not having that to do right now. It's nice not having to do general home upkeep. I can just, like, something breaks, like fall something.
Just call. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess that's the dual-edged sword too, because if you're like, I would love to paint this wall, you usually can't.
Yeah,
Right? If I want to put a play set in the backyard, that's not a thing. So,
luckily in this situation, it's not like an apartment complex, so they've been fairly flexible.
Cool.
Stuff there, but we've been able to decorate kind of how our kids' crazy minds work. Nothing too crazy, but it's not too bad.
I love that. I love that. So, it sounds like it's more just the down payment and financial that would stop you from buying a house sooner. Like if we solve for that, you could buy a house tomorrow, right?
Me well enough that I'm kind of like that kind of weird budget person, like penny picture, not necessarily too crazy, but it's more of like, I don't want to have excess, like an excessive amount then, because like home ownership, I just think, yeah, you get this equity, but like one, you're gonna have to have a certain down payment to make things worth it, otherwise I'm paying more. Two, like, that's just a lot of money that, like, I feel like right now we could use for other things, for vacation and those things that it's gonna be tied up just in a down payment on a house.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be house poor. Yeah. You get the house and then you can't do anything. It's like, all you kids, you're out of sports, no more doing anything, no vacations. Christmas is canceled because we have a house. Yeah. I get that. I don't want to put you in a scenario like that. So I love this idea. Let's get you on this plan to own a home because it sounds like you understand the value of like that equity and how it builds and all of that. And then just the whole idea of living the American dream type of an idea. So, do you like right off the bat, before we really dive into all of this, do you have any questions or concerns that you'd like to go over about buying a house?
I mean, right now, we can put really high. Swear that's something very deterrent for me. And, you know, looking at how the market fluctuates, it seems like things steady out over time. So we're talking 2 to 3 years out, maybe, just maybe we might be back to like where people were having like a 3% interest rate. I have a friend that's at like 2.875.
Yeah,
I don't know for any times.
no, it's like a whole different kind of trapped. Like they have to stay in that house because their rate is too great to leave. For people that don't have that, they're like, I wish I had that. So, yeah.
So that's one concern. I'd say the other concern is just. I feel like once you're in a house, if you made that large investment. To me, that's just a lot of stress.
Like that you made the wrong decision or
Well, almost like, yeah, like, hey, did I pick the right house?
Mhm.
Did I pick the right location for my kids? You know, is it one of those things that now where I've had more of the flexibility to just say, hey, I terminate my lease, now I'm locked in for, you know, X amount of years, or like, obviously a 30-year loan, or it's like, hey, like, if I turn around in 2 to 3 years, am I losing money?
Mhm.
It's just a waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah, just so you know what, with a house, it's usually 4 to 5 years that you the equity actually gives you money in your pocket. And so if you were like looking like, oh, let's stay here for a handful of years, then you're going to be fine. And you're actually going to put money in your pocket to go move to that next house. So instead of being like, okay, now let's come down with first and last month's rent, it's like, let's sell our house and we got to use our equity to roll into that next one as a down payment. And so it's actually shorter than most people think. But most people, when they move, they want to stay there for a decade. And that's kind of what they plan on. Um, so moving forward, I've kind of broken it down. By the way, I'm on this page. There's usually two big reasons why people don't buy houses. It's usually they don't know the process or what to do or anything about it. Or actually more common is actually just the financial piece. It sounds like you're kind of there. Some of the things you were saying makes it sound like you've kind of thought about this. You've looked a little bit. I mean, interest rates, all of this stuff. People that don't want to buy a house don't care what interest rates really are and things like that. So we'll just go glance over the process real quickly and talk a little bit about that financial readiness a little bit more. So just a kind of FYI, if you were like, I'm ready to buy a house today, this is kind of the process we'd go through, and I'd guide you through the whole way. So you don't need to even worry too much about it. But what I'd have you do is talk to a lender, and we'd get you pre-approved. Basically, what that is they give their stamp of approval before we go buy a house, before we find it. So we make sure we're not like finding a house that we can't actually afford, or that you're going to be house poor and all of these other things. We'll make sure you're in the right situation and that you're actually approved. And then when we go shopping for houses, that stamp of approval is great for all of the homeowners, because we can say, look, we've already been vetted, we look good, the lender says we're okay, and we're going to actually be able to afford the house. From there, we just kind of make a plan and we go out and search. This is like the fun part where you see on HGTV. We'll probably meet again, go over what you're looking for in a house, and then go shopping and see those houses. Some people see 3 to 5 houses, some people see 10 to 15, but we would make sure we get the ideal scenario for you, check the neighborhood, everything like that. Then from there, we make an offer. And if the sellers accept our offer, there's some negotiation there usually. Then we just make sure that this house is actually the right house for you. There's no big problems, things like that. And then it's your house. So it's really easy on you. I actually will do a whole bunch of work to make this as smooth as possible, because I want this to be enjoyable. But I know not everyone buys a house every day. So do you have any questions about the process?
Yeah, I mean, I think that offer stage is one of the things that kind of scares me a little bit because, you know, I saw a lot of people, they're like, oh man, I found my dream home. And they,
Yeah.
all this work, you look at homes, you're like, hey, I finally found one. You have this high level, and all of a sudden you get deflated because you didn't get it.
Oh yeah. Buying a house is like a roller coaster. So that's where like my job is to not have those steep drops. Like we want to do our due diligence like on you and your finances before, so we know that we can get the house. Like so we can come in strong if we need to. We can make a lowball offer if we think we can get a good deal on the house. Like just whatever matches your scenario and your desire for the house. Like I want to make sure that it works for you. And then we'll make sure you're not making a mistake. Like there's no big problems with the house. There's no issues. It's not like you're going to buy the house, move in, and then regret your decision, kind of an idea. So, and I'm on your team through this whole process. So I'm not going to be pushing you or trying to make you go into something that you don't want to. Like I'm just here to help and get you the best deal. So next is about the finances. So kind of a quick like overview here is there's really three big questions we need to figure out with the finances. And a lender is going to dive a little bit deeper into this with you when you're ready. But number one is, do you earn enough to qualify? Number two is, do you have enough of a down payment? And number three, is your credit good enough? Now, there's a whole bunch of loan programs. I've highlighted 4 of the most common ones here for you. The conventional loan is what most people think about when they think of a loan, and they're like, oh, we need 20% down. Actually, it goes down to as low as 3% with a conventional loan. So most people do 3, 5, 10, 15, or 20% down. So it's all about saving up for that down payment. FHA, this is very common for first-time home buyers. It's 3.5% down, and you can actually have a lower credit score. So that's great. Were you in the military or anything? You're a VA? No. Okay, then you don't get the VA loan. We'll just cross that right off. But they're nice. If you ever do join the Army, whatever, you can do 0 down. So super awesome things there. And then the USDA, this is a rural housing is what they call it. So you will not be living in a place with a lot of neighbors if this is you. So not a lot of places in Utah and Salt Lake counties qualify. If you wanted to move closer to like a Nephi or something, there's a lot of places that qualify in like Juab County, I think even Tooele counties and stuff like that. So if you're looking a little further out, those have 0 down payments as well. So there's some things that we can do as we're doing that. But what we're going to actually do right now is I have created a little calculator for you. So you see this QR code, pull out your phone, scan it. And this way we can kind of get an idea for you without you having to tell me all of their scary numbers. Like how much money do you make? How much debt do you have? And things like that. And then this you can run over and over and even run through some scenarios and we can look at a couple of ways. So as you're pulling this up, it's a little thing I built with AI. And it just asks you for a couple of numbers. So start by putting in how much you make. This is before taxes. Good. I should probably share this with a lender to make sure it's not all off. So put in how much you make, and then you're going to put in all of your debts. Like the common ones are like your car payments, your credit card payment. Now it's your minimum payment that you have due with your credit card. So if you're like, I have a 20 grand balance on my credit card, I'm going to tell you, well, you should pay that off. But also it's not the whole 20 grand that you need to pay every month. It's probably $100 or $200. Yeah, so just add another thing. Student loans are common in there. Anything that you think would show up on your credit report, like if you went to like Credit Karma or uh what are the credit bureaus? Experian or any of these that you can go on, if they know that you would have that on there, put that in there. So put in all of your debts. And then this should give you an idea. Now, every loan is a little bit different on they call it debt to income ratio. So what this means is you can only, and this is 45% is what this calculator does, but you can only have so much of your income that goes to your debt payments, including your house. And so we can also add in your down payment in here that's just going to increase that. So as you're going through there, what's it saying? What's it spitting out on what you can qualify for? Okay.
So like if I put it in parking, it's like. Payment, I
Yep.
can do.
Your monthly payment. Yeah, the minimum monthly payment for all of your debts. So this does not include like your utilities or your phone bill or anything like that. Usually it's not even medical if you have any payments set up with medical things. I always celebrate when I pay off my children. My wife thinks that's a funny joke, but they give you 0% interest to pay your hospital bills. Why am I going to pay that all off? Why not spread that out over a few months? They're not going to repossess your baby. So as you fill that out, let me know when you have a number so we can kind of get an idea of what we're working with.
This throughout 505,000.
505. So assuming that we didn't miss anything with your debt payments, and everything like that, you could right now afford a $505,000 house. So, have you ever looked online to see what you could qualify for $505,000?
But I like this one.
Okay. 6% is probably real-ish right here. Maybe 6.25 right now.
So that's at 536.
Cool. So David, I know your game plan is 2 to 3 years, but it sounds like right now with how this is sitting, assuming that you have some sort of down payment that could match this, or we could find a down payment, like if you have a rich uncle or something like that, and you have the credit score, it sounds like you might be able to qualify to get a pretty good house right now, pretty comparable to what you're living in right now. What if you went home and told your wife, like, hey, let's go buy a house today?
That's good.
Let's move. So this is very real. I want to run through a different scenario too, like that this was like 250. And you're like, I have 5 kids. Like there's not a house out there for 250 with 5 kids if you want to live close by. So if that's the scenario where it's too low, it's like, great. Well, there's if you click on like what else can I do? There's a whole bunch of options that we can do that this calculator even will tell you about. A few of the ones that I want to highlight is, yeah, there's the what if scenarios, like if interest rates come down, what does that look like? I don't want to trust that because that's like the government and investors and everyone else deciding what interest rates should be based off what they're buying, super complex that people don't even know how they really work. So we don't want to trust that. But the two big levers that you have is earning more income and paying down your debts. So if you could focus on those two things, that's going to have an outsized result in upping the amount of money you can qualify for. So go ask for a raise, then use all of that money to pay down your debts or whatever. And we can even bring in a lender to talk about this as well, because they might tell you like, oh no, don't pay off those debts yet. Let's go do this with your house or blah, blah, blah. They can get pretty creative around some of that stuff. So if you're like, oh, we're just about there, or like, for example, if you're on like the last few months of your car payment, like, and it's a $500 car payment, well, when you pay off that car, that's going to jump things up. So even if you were to like delete your car payment in that whole calculator, look how it changes. And so maybe it's like we just look at how do we pay that off early or get a plan in place for when you do pay that off. So if you're like, oh my goodness, like we're about there, we're about real. I have this little checklist for you as you're working through with a lender. They're going to ask for a whole bunch of documentation because this calculator is just me blindly trusting that you entered in all of your numbers correctly and we'll base it off of that. A lender does not blindly trust you because that's what happened in 2008 that caused the big crash is they'd be like, how much do you make? Great, I believe you. And everyone lied and now we were in a big problems. So they're going to gather a few things. So they're there. Now I have a couple of different lenders that I can reach out, have you reach out, or they can reach out to you. I'll write down their names and phone numbers. So when you feel a little bit ready, or if you have any deeper questions on how to be better about this, they can do this. Now they can even just talk scenarios with you, or they can dive super deep and actually like pull your credit and do a whole entire check. So we can go as soft as just questions, or we can go as firm as pulling your credit and everything like that. Then they'll review your options and kind of create you a timeline, see if there's anything else that you need to do. And they'll be very upfront with you. And like they don't judge people. This is like what they do every day, all day. It's like, okay, you're not quite there. Here's how you could get there, and they can help you with that. So after chatting finances, how are you feeling about this?
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds like you're so close. You're just right about there, which is awesome. So the other thing that I constantly hear from people when they're like almost there, they always say like, oh, I'm going to wait on the market till it changes. Well, so I have these graphs here that I wanted to highlight, just two big graphs. Like every quarter I dive deep into the numbers to stay really up to date. And we do like hours of trainings and conversations around this. But a couple of things. So this top one is the median home price here in Utah. That pinkish reddish bar is the long-term average of appreciation, which is 4%. So you'll notice from like 2003 till kind of like 2016, we were pretty much like following along that curve. And then we went crazy here in Utah and we made big jumps way, way up. And then it has kind of stayed up there. We haven't come down too much, but we're kind of hovering right around that 510. And so this is just Utah. Yeah. The national average looks something similar to this. But Utah jumped a little bit higher in the 2020 to 2022 kind of range than the national. So you'll notice we're above this trend line. I don't think we're going to come down to the trend line. I don't even think we're going to stay average because Utah has a healthy demand. People want to move here. So I imagine we're either going to stay flat or increase over the next few years. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, so this is my opinions and my thoughts, but you'll notice that even if you bought in like the very peak, the last time that houses were really high and went down, like 2007, it was 216 for a house. Well, if you lived there until 2014, boom, we're already back to 2016. So even if you bought at the peak, you're gonna go right to that 216. And then it jumps from there. So, and you'll notice a couple of these years, like you gain a ton of equity. Like some of the more normal years, like 2016 or 2015 to 2016, that still follows that trend line pretty closely. We went from 248 to 270, right? That is $22,000 in equity that you put in your pocket just by owning a home. Crazy. What if I told you, hey, you're renting a house, I'll give you $22,000 because you live in this house? Wouldn't that be crazy? So this is why I like people to move into homes. This other bottom one, this is a national graph, but it's the percent appreciation or depreciation. I like to highlight this one because you'll notice that there's very few times in history since the 50s that home prices have gone backwards. 59, it wasn't even a full percent. Then 91, it was 2.15%. The one that we all remember because it was so recent, 2008, 2009, it went down almost 13%. Even in 2023, when interest rates changed, it only went down 0.43%. So typically homes don't go depreciate, they appreciate. So if you were waiting for the market to move downward, you were probably going to be disappointed. They typically don't go backwards.
So does this mean, so top of this number would be when it dipped in 2023?
Yeah.
If my house that I could, or say that I bought that for 530,000,
Yep.
it's worth less.
Yep. 0.43% less that next year. But then if you fast forward one more year, it's worth 3.63% more. So we rebound very quickly when you look at this stuff. Unless you look at 2008, 2009, which is the worst time for houses ever because houses cause crashes. So as we look at here, like, and I've mentioned this to you, so I'm on this page. My whole role here is like, I'm on your team. I want to be your advocate. I want to be on your side. So like, if you're like, I'm not ready and you truly aren't ready, I'm not going to push you into that. If you think, ooh, maybe this is doable, like, let's go down that road. If we get down a few steps and realize that you're not ready, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not here to push you into anything. I just want to let you know, like, I'm here to help you. And some of these charts make me think we should get you in a house because you're right about there for buying. So let's see if that timeline can be moved up because again, I don't know the crystal ball. I don't know if home prices are going to jump another 10 or 20% like they did a few years ago, or if they're going to kind of stay flat for the next year or go down a little bit like they've done a few times in history. So I want to help you. And I'm on your team. So you can be open, honest with me and help me however. Yes.
This graph because to explain a person that what they are hearing in the TikTok and stuff about homes going up.
Oh, yeah. So, yes.
But the houses are going up,
Yes, so a lot of things that people are seeing with home prices going down are almost made up. Because let's say I want to sell my house. I think I could probably sell it for like 650, maybe 670 right now. If I listed my house for $800,000 and then I was like, oh crap, I really need to sell it, I would have to lower it like $100,000 to be in the realm of where someone might think it is interesting. So do you know what the news would say? they would say, look at this home price reduction, $100,000. Home prices are dropping so much. But what they're doing is I started unrealistic and I'm moving down to a realistic. Yeah, so this is looking at homes that are sold and how they're going up and down. But a lot of the news is where you started listing and then where you come down. So
because I said, well, there are people that are really interested in selling. So that's why they lower the price because they really, and when they need the buyer that really wants to buy that house and the house, can be negotiated, that's tough.
yep,
Right now, you're competing with new construction because this is the first time that they said
new constructions.
is actually cheaper than the way it's.
Yes.
And by the way, as you're having these conversations with people, those are some of the things that you could say. Like Edge Homes, just on Tuesday in our team meeting, they announced that they have houses that they're offering like 9% concessions. So I'm not sure everything you can do with those concessions. I don't think it works as part of your down payment, but you can buy down the rate. You can lower. Can you use it for down payment? Do you know?
Not for that.
Not for down payment, but for everything else. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So if we're like, oh, if rates were at 5.75, I would qualify for this. It's like they're offering 9%. Let's buy down our rate to that. Yeah.
Right now that you said 6.25, we're hoping to see 4.99 by buying some.
Yeah. That's so low. Yeah. Yes.
They are getting a community that they want. Under case.
Good.
So, yeah, it looks like it works.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so after you explain like your role as an agent, I would say, look, everyone loves searching for homes. It sounds like your wife is already doing this. I want to actually give you a link to my app and my website. The reason I like this is for a few reasons. Number one, we have all of the homes that are listed for sale, and we try very hard to make sure they're correct. Zillow, for example, they like to have every home that's on the market, but they don't care if they're a little bit off because that might show that they have more houses for sale than anyone else. So sometimes they're a little bit wrong on a few of those things. And the other thing is when you're on Zillow, if you want more information and you see the agent there and you're like, oh, I'll just ask them a quick question. That is usually not the listing agent that has the answer. It's usually a different agent that is buying a lead. So this, if you're on my website and you're like, oh, I have a question about this, and you click a button to ask a question, it's going to come to me. I can go out and do the research. I'm here. I'm ready to help you and everything like that. Then also when you're ready to see houses, when you favorite listings on this website, I can actually see that and you can just say, hey, let's go see my favorites. And I can pull up a list of all of your favorites and we can narrow it down if any of them don't work or I think they're bad decisions for you or I hate the area or whatever the reason. And we can go see whatever houses make sense. And we can set up all of the fun things like notifications and all of that. So I'll send you a text message with a link to it's a website and an app. So you can do either one of them. Yes.
Is it possible for us to get a QR code for?
Yes. Yes. That's why I'm going to send this as a template to you. So you could say, put it right there. Boom. Scan this. This will go right to the app. So scan this right now, create your account, and boom, they're in there. So David, as we're looking at this, I have this whole get prepared for buying, but it sounds like with you, to be honest, it's like, let's get you in contact with a lender. You probably want to even start looking for houses like that scenario where you were approved for a little over $500,000. Like there's houses for that. Like, let's pull up some houses. Let's see what's out there and kind of go from there. And so to do that. And so I'd write down all of those things that you should be doing next. And if there's anyone. So now the last thing that I have for you, David, I know you're still, oh yeah,
Step, this is a question.
okay. Agent David.
So you're writing these things down.
Yep, I would write them down for them, like, yeah. Yeah, Marcus, you pass it to him and be like, write this down.
You're just like, shit, cryptic text, that's, sorry, handwriting.
So David, as I go through this with a lot of people, by the way, I'm on this page. A lot of people say something like, I wish I would have had this explained to me sooner. Like you found out you could potentially buy a $500,000 house, which is the same or even better than where you're living right now. And there might be a few things that we need to get ready, but those shouldn't be too difficult to do. So I'm curious, after having this conversation with me, who do you know that I should chat with and do something similar to? Like have this conversation with them. Who do you know?
I have to give it some deep thought.
Yeah, definitely think about it. And just know, like, you know me, I'm not gonna be pushy or anything. It's all to help you and get you moved closer to that goal of buying a house. So if you ever think of anyone that's like, I would love to buy a house, or I hate renting, or anything like that, when they say something like that, if you would just connect us in like a group text message, then that way they have my info, I have their info, we can connect and do something as similar like this, but very unique for them. Cool, sound good? You can send me those people. Okay. Well, do you have any other questions, or should we just kind of get you started by chatting with the lender and going through those next steps? Okay, awesome. Okay, questions. What are you guys concerned about? If I were to say you have to do this before January 1st.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, just about the AI and everything, at least when I was looking at it, so it shows me like the maximum purchase price, which is like cool to know, but a lot of times it's also showing me like the monthly payment would be, the max monthly payment would be like something like 44,000.
Yeah.
If I'm like meeting with someone who's like, hey, well, I want to try and minimize my monthly payment or get as close to my current rent as possible, is there a way to like adjust the AI to like show, okay, well, if you're paying like $1,600 right now in your month, let's see if you were making a down payment like that, or sorry, if you make a
Yes.
payment like that, what house value would you be looking at?
Yes. So in this, wait, there might even be a button. Click customize. So this is built with Claude, by the way.
At the very top of
At the very top, there's a button that says customize. So you can take what I have already built and you can tweak it however you want. You just tell AI what you want to do. So exactly like Marcus was saying, like, I would love to add a scenario where they're like, this is my monthly payment. How much house is that? You just say, hey, Claude, can you customize this and just make it so I can enter in their current monthly payment and tell them what kind of house they would qualify for with that. And boom, you now have a new link, you adjust your link and you use that instead.
It took me to club.
Yes. Do you have to have an account? Does that make any? Oh, maybe you have to sign in, but I don't know if you have to sign up and pay because they give you so much free of stuff. And if you need me to, maybe. This is what loan officers do in like their spreadsheets and their brains and stuff, but it's a lot more exact because some loans let you go up to 50% debt to income, others are like 42. So I just use 45% to give an idea of a number. So this is definitely not exact science that it's doing. Yeah, but it gives us a good idea. Because if someone gets a number of like 500,000, you're like, that's like almost the average purchase price right now in Utah. Like, depending on where you move, like we could get you like a new construction house in Eagle Mountain, get them to buy down your rate. You can have a whole house with a yard and everything. I mean, there's gonna be sagebrush in the yard, but there's gonna be a yard. Uh, like you can, whatever you want, you can look at that. Or if they're like, oh, I'm only approved to 250 and I need 5 bedrooms. It's like, okay, well, you're not ready yet, but now we know. We know where you're at and where you need to be. So let's start fixing some things, right? If they want to get super serious, it's like, okay, what if you got a second job? Boom, all of a sudden that boosts your income. What if you go ask your boss for a raise? Boom, that boosts your income. Can you take some of your savings and pay down a debt and do like Dave Ramsey debt snowball or something like that? So then you can qualify for more. Like we can play around because we have a starting point. And this is where the lender can go and help a whole bunch.
I never even thought about using this as an excuse to ask for promotion. That's probably actually like a viable
Yeah.
reason, because you're like, hey, I'm planning on staying here for 5 to
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, you know I'm off.
10
Yeah,
years.
I want to buy a house nearby. I want to work here forever.
It's actually,
Pay me more money, please.
yeah.
There's probably better ways to ask. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never asked for a promotion or a raise.
Use it to be like, hey, just think of it as an investment. You're guaranteeing that I will be here
Yep.
for at least 5 more years.
Okay, so what other concerns do you have if I said you have to set one of these appointments before January 1st?
How many?
At least one.
Yes, yes.
You already have one. Good. You have 3. You've been texting people the whole time. I knew it.
No, because but these buyers that are switching to that community, I really need to tell them, who do I sit with, right? It's appointments from fields that are having something
Hmm.
think, man, that's. So from these clients, what I'm really excited about.
Yeah. Yeah, because the whole idea here, again, like you'll notice we added a whole bunch of value. Like David and I went deep and I didn't have to get to know his finances. He asked questions, but to be honest, most of you could have probably answered all of these questions just by paying attention and being here. Like there was nothing difficult and they were all very real. And he wasn't even being like easy, like go with the flow. Like
Buying a house is like getting married.
yeah.
Find it and buy it, stop looking.
That's a good
No, it's more like dating. You got to keep the one eye open.
one. Your third eye to be friends with you.
Yeah.
You, there's a lot of potential houses for you or glass for you. It's very one, stay with that.
Okay, so I'm curious. I'm curious from you all if I said we were going to leave this room right now and make a phone call to set an appointment. What would you say to set an appointment like this?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I can tell you that it works 100%. Just getting people to talk to a lender makes a huge difference because person may let the lender start the process. Now it's moving forward. And everything kind of falls into place because their main hiccup was, I want to stay on the eastern bench of San.
Mhm.
Not anything over there, but we'll take a look. Their friend moved to the. All of a sudden, they started shifting because their friend was renting. Moved to the community that we were already looking at. As an option, so.
Yeah, I want to tell you 2 stories real fast about this. The first one is my story with not a happy ending. Well, I don't know, maybe it's not too bad. So me and my wife decided we were going to buy a house. So we did what you should do, and we went and shopped for houses and made offers without talking to a lender. This was probably 14 years ago. So neither of us were agents. We weren't even thinking about being in real estate, anything like that. We went to model homes, we looked at it, we made offers. And then we got an offer accepted. And then we talked to a lender. That lender was like, hey, congrats. I think you guys can qualify, except your wife's credit sucks. And I was like, how does it suck? She's got great credit. I did not know she had two student loan payments, $50 each. I had been making a $100 student loan payment to one company. So she had 90-day plus late problems with the other company. Also, she had a credit card that had like a super low balance and like no perks. It had a monthly or a yearly fee. So I'm like, let's just cancel this. This is dumb that we even have that. So we got rid of her credit card. And then we bought a big dog. So we traded in her car for something a little bit bigger. So we basically erased all of her good credit and only added bad credit to her. So she went from like a good credit rate to an awful credit rate real fast. And so we had to do a handful of things to help it get better. The whole while we were under this time crunch because we were building a house. We did not end up getting the house and we walked away and this was back when builders would do anything for you. So they're like, here's your earnest money back. Here's my personal cell phone. Call me whenever your credit is better and we will get you the same house in the same neighborhood. They were very willing, but we ended up not doing that. We should have though, because those houses are now worth way more than what we ended up buying. So would have been a great purchase. The second story that I have is about my brother-in-law who called me in 2019 and said, hey, we want to buy a house in like 2 years. And I said, what if you could buy a house now? And he's like, I don't think we can. I was like, let's talk to a lender and see. He talked to a lender and he's like, we can qualify for a house and we can qualify for more than we expected to qualify in 2 years from now. So let's go buy a house. He closed on his house. The next year, 2020, home prices jumped 20%. And now he has a very low interest rate. He is in a house with a bunch of equity. And he's like basically debates, do we sell our house, use all of our equity to go get something that we want? Do we take out a HELOC to add on to our house? Like he has all of these options because he just went through the process to get to know it. If you don't start and take a couple of these steps, you never know where you're going to go, type of an idea. Yeah, so David has his story talking to a lender. I have a handful of stories where people start and like, let's do this. Like you just never know. So what do you say? Let's imagine you call a friend and say, I need to do this buyer appointment. Do you do the Cutco style where you're like, hey, I need to do an appointment this week and I really like you, so please sit down with me?
I think the approach to practice, that's honestly the exact replica of, hey, I have a trusted friend. I knew that they were in a position that they were wanting to eventually get into a house. I knew his wife, or like, looks at that house, like we got a good relationship. So it's like, hey, like, can I just practice on you guys? Essentially use you as guinea pigs because I know you're going to give me honest feedback. Because I don't want to go out there and look like an idiot.
Mhm.
It's like a bunch of training. Like I don't want to go out because there's like the benefit of going out and just falling flat on your face, and there's an added benefit of going out with tools in your pocket and being more polished.
Yeah.
Not like perfect because nobody's perfect, but like knowing more what you're talking about and understanding the market in different areas.
Oh, I mean, I'd probably do like a mix of that, or yeah, or I'd probably go to one of my friends. I just thought of someone that might be beneficial for this, just being like, hey, yeah, like I'm still new to this, I have like a script that I'm trying to like, fully memorize and understand kind of saying everything. But I believe even if I say it terribly, you're gonna really enjoy or at least get a lot of value out of it. So why don't I just come by, we can chat, catch up online, and then yeah, I can give you this quick spiel down and make sure you actually do get some good info from this, and then that would also help me practice this thing. So,
Yeah.
something like that. Probably burning a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to practice exactly the same, but yeah, something like this.
Better. Do you remember him saying about my daughter that works in Soleil?
Oh, yes.
He said he was working so, oh my God.
You do.
What, me, what, talking to her doesn't work.
You need to say, look, I'm not your mother right now. I'm Realtor Erica, having an appointment with you.
Daniel,
I love you as a business person, not as a daughter right now.
yeah,
So, because they're currently.
my daughter is back at the house with us.
Okay.
So, and she's paying us a little bit on rent, but you know, she needs a struggle, for example. She would love to go back
Yeah.
and be close to where she lived through like 4 years. With a mission in the middle. Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay, so here's your homework. You have three things. Number one, you need to figure out how you would pitch this to someone so that you can set an appointment with them. Like, what are you gonna say? No, I'll email it to you after this. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Put it in Spanish. So yeah, figure out what you would say when you reach out to someone. And it is best by a phone call because this is a business thing. So you can even start, hey, this is a business conversation. Second, if you would like, this one is an optional thing. You can practice with each other. One time. That's all you get. Then,
Creepy.
step number three, that which is not optional, is have an appointment with a real live person. This could be the easiest appointment in the world. Ideally, it's someone that does not own a house, so that they are only buying, and this information is all very helpful to them. We often forget how much we actually know about this whole process. And the public does not know all of these things. And so just even like, hey, you should get pre-approved or talk to a lender to see what you can buy. Like that blows some people's minds away. And it's free. Yep. So
I consider to see what kind of AI did you use for this one?
for the packet,
Was it ChatGPT?
this is me.
I
This is me. I literally typed this out. Yeah. I know. I had a lot of conversations with ChatGPT beforehand. So I knew exactly how we would set it up. And I ran through a few scenarios.
It's about saying some of these things in social media or the groups that I have and deal with. It's not as personal.
Yeah. That is a definite way to set appointments, is put it out to social media. It is not going to be as good as making a phone call and doing a direct ask. If you want to have appointments, the best way to set them is call a person and say, let's sit down and do this. You can do it in the office. You can go to their house. You'll notice we did not even pull up a house.
Because I have had people already that start with Rudy and my interviews and I have some information for them, but the step by step, I love it. I need the statistics, yes, to. make
Okay.
it up.
You guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Any other doubts? I'm not going to be here.
So are we fine if like the packets, I mean, you have it on the front page? Brand new.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Every page. No, it's fine just being on the first page. Yeah. Yeah.
Take considered like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's. So I like second guess myself, is like, hey, I'm gonna have this to like certain pages.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact rule or law around something like this, but the one that I have in my mind that I'm like, this makes it fine, is you need to be one click away from knowing that it's yours, So like, if you don't put it, like if you post something and you're like, check out this listing, and you don't put KW Westfield anywhere on that, well, if they click on the listing, they're going to go to the KW Westfield. They'll see your branding on your website. If they click on your profile, it should say KW Westfield somewhere in your profile. So you're not blind ads because it's one click away. And I feel like this is the same way. We're on the front page, and so every other page is like turning back to the front page away. So that's my one click kind of an idea. So
So, I mean, something that you can get around that is if you just put the white KW here on the corner.
Oh, so it doesn't even have to be the full.
Nope, all you have to, and it doesn't have to be a logo either. It could just say KW Westfield. That's all it has to say. Yeah,
Made a packet through command, but it was so hard to make that packet.
Yes.
All of them were very credential heavy. And it's like, I don't have any credentials.
yeah.
I'm just-
You want to know the secret? Buyers don't care about credentials. Like, if you get someone that's going to interview a handful of real estate agents, they might ask how long you've been in the business or how many sales you've done, how many have you done in this area? Have you helped people like me? Those kind of questions. The average person does not care anything besides, can you get me my dream house? And that's all they care about. They care about the house more. Even like investors, they don't care about the real estate agent. If you can bring them the best deal, they will buy a house with you. They could have their like same agent that they've used for years and years. And if you find them a good deal, they'll be like, all right. So, okay, go and have some of these. Give me all of your feedback. So tell me when you have one of these, how it goes and anything, because we are going to do group iterations here with this. If you're like, I did this and it fell flat, or this was the worst part of the whole presentation, and I start hearing that over and over, it's either we presented it poorly, or the packet has it set up poorly, or maybe we just need to cut it all. We need to improve something. So we're going to constantly iterate on this until it can be so good that it's like the Cutco presentation when you're like, Mom, will you just meet with me? I need to do my one presentation so I don't get fired. And then she's like, oh my goodness, I'm buying Cutco knives right now. And you're like, that's how good it's going to be. So go out and crush this. Thanks, guys.